Hello everyone, my name is Madison and Caleb is behind the camera, and today I'm going to be showing you our apartment for the very first time. Now, we live on a main road, so it's really loud, so pretend like I'm welcoming you inside when I'm going to finish talking in here. So in mid-August, me and Caleb drove 19 hours straight here with all of our stuff, all of the animals, all of my plants, and we arrived. It was 95 degrees out and like 80% humidity. I actually thought I was going to pass out for the first time.
We made it into the apartment. Carrie.
I drove the last portion and I didn't record anything. I don't know how people vlog that moving. This is hell. It is 91 degrees out, 80% humidity, which, you know, is normally fine. But when you have to take all your animals up 3 flights of stairs and they're like what, 80% of the cars is reptiles, so bro,
yeah.
We don't have any toilet paper, we don't have any toothpaste, we don't have any soap, but we have driftwood. After not sleeping for I think it was like 36 hours in total, and I was running off of a bang and a chicken I ate on the Ohio River. So yeah, it was an interesting time. And I'm in college and Caleb works full time. I also work part time and run on Hopp'in Help and take care of all my animals. This apartment is not going to be like some crazy Mr. Beast thing, okay? I think it's pretty nice, but it's a livable apartment, not some crazy YouTuber apartment, okay? So it's not as crazy as all the other stuff you see on YouTube. This is a real life home. So here's blank wall number 1. This is our couch. We want to get shelves. They're just really expensive, so pretend there's something there. We had to flip around the apartment because of all my animals, and then we both wanted office space because I need a desk and he has a gaming PC. So we made the living room our bedroom. So here is our bed. Mushrooms. Maybe one day shelves. Yeah, and it's still decorated for Halloween because I've been delaying this video for about a month and a half, and I really like Halloween, so poor Caleb, who wants to celebrate Christmas already, has had to deal with all the pumpkins and spiders. So pretend like it isn't almost December. So I go to UCF. I caught a homecoming duck, which apparently people like punch each other for, but I just caught it and I had a fun time, so I don't know what that was about, but I got the duck up there. I was gonna put him in my Jeep, but then I was thinking somebody like literally might break into my car to get it. But the other duck was somebody ducked me here on my Jeep. That's too much to explain if you don't have a Jeep. So now I'm coming to our office. And again, livable office, all right? This isn't some crazy thing. But this is my desk here. There's my high school cap and Billie Eilish's perfume. It's so nice. Bunch of other random stuff because I'm kind of like a crow. I just collect things. Fifi, courtesy of my friend. Love it. But this is my desk. And then if you order from my Etsy shop, this would be where your order is completed. All the all the money literally goes towards the animals. So these are your orders. This is your stuff. This is actually an upgrade from Ohio, okay? So just know, I'm honest when I say all the money goes to the animals because I don't even have a desk for this stuff, okay? This is my enormous amount of craft supplies that is spilling everywhere because I don't have enough space for it. My rocks, we have shelves that we actually haven't put up. We just haven't got to it, okay? Love seat, which is where Caleb escapes from me. He's got his plants here. This is his setup. What kind of computer you have?
A gaming PC?
Isn't there aren't people I have a...
I don't know.
He's got one. This is where he spends all his time. Our bathroom's nothing special, but it is bigger than what I grew up in, so I love it. And now to show you our kitchen slash dining room slash bedroom. I don't really know what you want to call it. I really like this area. We haven't finished it yet, as we haven't finished basically anything. But I think we can both agree that this is our favorite area. The UCF flag was actually the first thing we hung up in the apartment. That's like a cantaloupe from like maybe 2 months ago. I'm sure it's like disgusting inside. We just haven't bothered with that. We got our bang stocks, like stock right here. Something I'll show up close is I actually preserved leaves from around my hometown in Ohio last fall in resin. It's the only time I've ever used resin, okay? So don't jump down my back. It was in 2020. I was very bored, okay? We all know that fall 2020 sucked. But I am actually really happy I did it because it's like a piece of home is here. I really like it. And it goes with the fall theme, but now we have to go into Christmas. So they're still staying up though, by the way. This is my favorite piece of artwork. I'm sorry to the artist. I don't remember your name. I met you at a craft show at a dance convention in like 2012. But it's still my favorite piece of art. So if you watch this, I love it. This is our functional kitchen. Okay, don't mind the pizza we ate last night. We haven't got there yet. But I like our kitchen. It's so much more spacious than like what kitchen I grew up in. I don't care if this is small to you, okay? This is the closest thing to an island I've ever had. I love it. It's nice having our own fridge. Like the animals got their own food set up in here, which this thing saved my life. It's at Target. If anybody else has like veggie eating reptiles, you need this thing. It's so worth it. And then we have like our pantry that's full of chips, literally. That's all chips. Okay, and there's pasta up there. That's what I eat. And our dishwasher, our laundry is in there. And then, of course, for the room that everybody's waiting for, and you probably skipped past everything else. Now, for the frog room, and cue my voiceovers. And welcome to the frog room. Now, one of my most favorite things about having my own space is I just kind of have the room to be creative and try different things on the walls and whatever. And this is one of the first projects I did. There's so much more to come. I have so many ideas, but you know, having time is difficult in college. But I am going to say this room is kind of a work in progress. The tanks aren't the most amazing thing I've ever created before, but they'll get there. So just keep in mind that I'm still building these enclosures. And here is my art wall. That's something that people are absolutely loving when they come over to see the frog room for the first time. Particularly this piece I got done at Poke Pet Shop. Look at how awesome this is. If you love Pokemon and you have exotic pets, or you know, even dogs and cats, you 1000% need one of these guys. It's completely customizable and it is such quality. I 1000% recommend them for everybody. And if you want to get your own, use code BubbaandFifi20 for 20% off your order. And then this is the first time I've ever pinned bugs, and I'm very proud of it. And now let's get into these enclosures, starting off with my Euromestics Dijon. This is my very first ever Zen habitat. It's 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, and I am simply obsessed with how it looks, how easy it was to build. Loving this enclosure. Probably gonna get Jada my Chuckwalla one too, because this feature right here is a lifesaver. It was so nice being able to select driftwood for this enclosure since it's so big. I could get really tall pieces, and so far that's what I've been going with in this tank. But he is loving this enclosure. He really started to thrive once I got him in it. I had him in a 40 breeder because I adopted him, I think, a week and a half before I moved. He was the last pet at the pet store I used to work at that they ordered in when I was still there, and I was like, well, I have to get this man. And I'm super glad I did. He's the funniest thing ever. He has all these spots to bask, but he loves this turtle hide I got him. Like, lays on it, sleeps in it, and even though he has everything else in this enclosure that occasionally he'll explore, his favorite thing is that little turtle hide. And next are the white tree frogs, Zip and Penny. This enclosure is fairly similar to how it was in Ohio, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. They've been thriving in this enclosure. I'm looking to get some more 3D printed items to put on the walls because they love it so much. But overall, this enclosure has been working for them, so this is what I'm going to stick with. And Penny has started to explore more since we got here. I think in general, everybody's just been healthier. But I love this enclosure, and I love that they thrive in it.
And their neighbors are the Cuban tree frogs. Now these guys were in a, I believe it was a 32-gallon curved enclosure, so it was longer than it was tall, and they've definitely been thriving in this enclosure type. They're probably going to be my next bioactive tank, and I am so excited. Like, what I've written up for them is going to be so beautiful, but they've already been doing so much better in this tank, and I cannot wait to get them into a bioactive tank. However, I will say, if you have any rescue tree frogs, the two methods I have going on in these two tanks are the best, easiest to clean by far, and the animals have been thriving. And directly beneath them is Jada the Chuckwalla in her 75-gallon enclosure. This has also been a, I guess you can say, fan favorite of everyone who's come to see the frog room. They love how big it is, and like, it just, when you look into it, it looks like it'd be one of the smaller 40 gallons until you really realize the size of everything in here. I don't know if it does it justice on camera, but she has massive driftwood, massive vines to climb on, and she has really been thriving. She loves to do like pull-ups, like she jumps everywhere, even though she could very easily just run around. But she's doing great. I mean, look at this beautiful girl. And next is the Tower of Leopard Geckos, starting with Lemon. Now these enclosures were one of the first things I set up once we got to Florida. I really wanted to get them out of their, travel carriers and into their homes. So they're definitely a work in progress, but I'm really happy with Lemon's. I think it's super fun. However, she tends to only stay in the green items in the enclosure, so I don't know if she wants different hides or new hides, because these were in her old tank, but I'm super happy with how it looks and how she's been enjoying it. And beneath her is Chonk the leopard gecko. He loves his, Repti, I think this is a Repti hotel. I think that's what they sell it as. He has the large, there's his litter box in the back, and his humid hide right there. His is definitely a work in progress. I've been trying to find something for him that fits in this space that also he can climb on, because he does like to explore a little bit more. So still a work in progress, but he's loving it. He's been thriving. He finally got to a healthy weight. He's been kind of on the thinner side for a larger male leopard gecko, but he's doing amazing. And beneath him is Vidalia, the rescued leopard gecko. If you remember from 2020, I rescued her from a pretty bad environment, and now she's been doing good. She needed to gain a little weight, but honestly at this point she has gained too much weight, so that's something we're working on. If you've noticed, she's kind of on the chunkier side, and I'm also looking to get her a fourth hide here. She likes to hang out in her humid hide, but she hasn't been too big on the whole exploring thing and exercising thing at the moment, so I'm getting an outside pen that I can set up on our balcony so she can get some natural sunlight, walk around a little bit more, but she really loves this humid hide, and I need to find something else that she equally loves and will go out a little bit more and will run around a little bit more. She was always scared in Ohio, so I'm glad that she's comfortable here. I just need her to move a little bit more. And lastly is Vanilla the leopard gecko, who I honestly think has had the best glow up since she's been in Ohio. She was about 40 grams when I brought her here, which is very tiny, and now she is a beautiful 52 grams. She's gained a perfect amount of weight. There's her humid hide in the back, the same as Lemon's, and her tank is beautiful. It was the first thing I set up once we moved here, like quite literally the first tank, and she loves her water dispenser. And I included this video because I wanted to prove that she actually hangs out in this thing. It's one of her favorite things to sleep in during the daytime. And on to the Firebelly Toads tank. Yes, there is 10 in there. This enclosure has actually been nicknamed the frat house by my coworkers here because, to my knowledge, they're all boys, or at least most of them are boys, and they are very noisy. So when I left for Thanksgiving, they were like, oh, it's the frat house, like, look at all the guys. So I think I'm gonna have to print something out to, like, title this enclosure that. But also, one of the tanks that is going to be becoming bioactive very soon. It's going to be a very beautiful planarium. I'm just looking for the right driftwood pieces. And it looks like there's a film on the water because I just fed them with calcium, so it looks a little icky. I didn't think of that before I started filming, but that is why that looks like that. Really happy with this enclosure. They're all doing really awesome. Fairly similar to the one in Ohio. I just have easier access to them because everybody got upgraded to Exoterras. And now for our rescue girl, Kelp. She's doing absolutely amazing. I know I said Vanilla was the biggest glow up, but I really think Kelp might have been. She has gained so much weight. She cannot use her leg. I don't know if any of you guys were following her story, but her official rescue story is going to be out soon, and if you're watching this in the future, the link will pop up now. But essentially, she was hit by either a bicycle or a car, so she does not have function of her right leg and was deemed non-releasable. That is why she is with me. But she's doing incredible here. She can climb, which is something she couldn't do before. She loves to burrow. She loves to stand on top of her hides, not in them. But whatever works for this girl, I'm just happy that she is doing well. And now for Vinnie and Frankie, our old Texas toads. Now, Vinnie has something going on called corneal lipidosis. This is essentially where fat surrounds the eye because they had too much fat in their diet. Now, this is something that cannot be reversed. It can only be prevented. So I wrote an article based on what me and my exotic vet learned about it. There's not much research out there for toads, so I definitely suggest reading it because it's something that you cannot undo, you can only prevent it. But he has a great quality of life. His enclosure is fairly similar to how it was in Ohio because he is starting to lose his vision, but he's still a great man, and to be perfectly honest, he's better at tongue feeding than Frankie is. So they're both doing fine. He just looks a little odd now. And next I have my bug bins. I have discoid roaches, crickets, and a superworm farm. I wish I did this earlier, honestly. I'm gonna make an in-depth video because even in an apartment, this is like the most amazing way ever to keep bugs. The room doesn't smell, you don't hear them, it's awesome. So this is something that I'm really gonna share because I think all exotic pet owners need to know about it. And above them is the African fat-tailed gecko, Almond. Now, Almond is my very first bioactive enclosure. I know it's a little on the rough side, but I really tried. This was one of my last things I ever even did in Ohio. It took me so long to make. Yeah, it was a learning experience, but as all things are, I'm just excited to do it to more tanks because now I know, the mistakes I made, etc. But Almond has been loving this. He hasn't been climbing it like I thought he would. Like, he likes to climb, but he hasn't really explored up there to my knowledge. However, he does only come out around 4 a.m. So I guess I wouldn't know, but I'm proud of this tank. I'm glad I did it. And next is the red-spotted toad Artichoke. I love his enclosure. It's just cute. He's my only tiny toad that I have. So he has all of the tiny items that used to be in the enclosures of my now bigger animals. So it's kind of like a big memory book, if you will. Artichoke has really been doing good as well. He gained a lot of weight that he just couldn't put on in Ohio. I'm not sure why this was the case, but I think now that I'm thriving, also the animals are thriving, which is just a really nice thing to witness. And then, look at how cute this tank is. And above them is Bubba and Fifi, the Great Plains toads. They are also doing amazing as always. Their enclosure is fairly similar to how it was in Ohio because these guys are dorks and I'm afraid that if I change it up too much, they'll either hate it or destroy it. So they seem to like this. They love to be able to climb up top behind that one piece that's directly against the wall. And something that is different in this enclosure than in Ohio is I gave them a window because they love to look out at me so much. So now they do have a window. And look at how cute this is. And lastly, we have the veiled chameleon Spinach. Now I want to say she is a happy girl. She just really hates the camera. I think it looks like a massive eye to her. But I have her in a extra large Zoom Ed Repti Breeze, which is 4 feet tall and 2 foot by 2 foot. This tank is huge. It's taller than me on the little table it's on. It's literally absolutely massive. And I am so happy with this tank, and she is so happy with this tank. She's been doing so good. I wish I could get it on video where she's bright green, but that does not happen. I can't even sneak in the room to get a video because she's like directly in the path of the doorway, and we're eye level when I walk in because she's so high up now. But this tank, the bottom actually became bioactive on its own. I put isopods in there to help it out, but this enclosure is thriving, she's thriving. It's essentially all live plants, and I'm planning on getting more to make it even more full. This is definitely a tank I'm very proud of. It's really getting to the level that I want to be at. Building it was like kind of like building Legos, but without the book. So it took a minute, and some pieces I'm like, why did I do that method? But it's all so intertwined that you can't really take it back. There's Spinach, always watching. Even with her back turned, she's watching you. And for the last little bit of the frog room is having my own bathroom. Now, people who have a lot of exotic pets know that having this is probably one of the best things ever. We only had one full bathroom in my house in Ohio, so when water changes happened, you had to do it all at once and then completely deep clean the entire bathroom afterwards. So it was like a 2.5 hour process. Like, it was a whole lot. And now, look at that. That's Artisticfrog's general sponge. I have Dawn soap. I have hand soap for once I'm done. It's all just mine. It's all nice and organized. They have their own knife set for Jada and Dijon's salads. I have so much storage space, and it's all just here. Obviously, I'm gonna keep it sterile, but it's nice not having to be like, oh, I have to bleach the sink and the shower before I can go to bed tonight. Like, I don't have to use such heavy chemicals anymore, and it's all mine, and it is beautiful. But I'm super proud of the frog room. I just can't wait to see where we, end up when eventually we move out of this apartment and I'm going to grad school. It's crazy how fast everything's going. I already ended my first semester of college, which it went by so fast. Like, I just can't believe I'm already, I'm in college now. I already finished the semester. It's absolutely crazy. Life moves fast. So, like, the fact this time last year, I was in my hometown, working with my old coworkers who I still love dearly. And now I'm on my own in college, working at the same type of store, but completely different. And it's just crazy how life moves, like, really. So if you're watching this and you're a senior in high school or whatnot, just savor all the moments you have. I'm not saying I've had bad moments here. I've had an amazing time moving, but now it's those little things that you miss with the people that you used to see every single day. So enjoy them. Enjoy being like, hey, do you want to go get coffee or whatever? Go do it, because now I have to fly 1,000 miles to go get, a sandwich with my friends up there. So enjoy those moments. When people say you'll grow distant, is it true? It's all up to what you do. We live in an age where we have things like Discord and FaceTime, so trust me, you'll be fine and do what makes you happy, and moving has certainly been that for me. And for one last section of our tour, our balcony. And I am just super happy with this area. Some of the apartments in our complex have closed off balconies, but we're on the 3rd floor with a walkway. But I have filled so many plants in the area that I was given, and honestly, I'm just really happy with it. Some of my plants from Ohio aren't doing so hot because it's so different here in Florida, but I'm growing collard greens and Florida spinach in here, and there's going to be kale that's growing in between, and that's for the lizards. The squirrels keep eating my flowers, but I think this plant was really beautiful. And then I have a native anole that hangs out, and I absolutely love him, and I do feed him. Fun fact, the green anoles are native, the brown anoles are not in Florida, which you see everywhere. So this little man is like my favorite. But I'm like propagating a whole bunch of plants, which was something I never did before in Ohio. Yes, some of them look a little rough. I know, I'm still getting used to how, to have plants in Florida. Like, this rosemary is super sad, but I'm just having such a great time learning how to take care of plants here. It's so wildly different than Ohio. As you can see, some of my pancake plants are a little shocked from the change in temperature and humidity, but overall, I'm just really happy to be able to have all my plants out here. And thank you guys so much for watching this tour, and stay tuned for so much more in this new space. Have a happy day. Goodbye.